Well, good morning. Good, beautiful Wednesday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and we will be glad in it. I hope you have awakened with joy in your heart, that you have climbed out of the bed, and that you just simply feel encouraged, that you are awake and alive, and that you are able to go and be with the Lord and talk with Him and pray and just spend some quality time with Him this morning. I thank you for joining me for these verses and the study, the very short study that we will do over the next few minutes. And I hope that this will be something that will help you as you go towards the weekend and the time that you will be in a Bible-believing church with fellow believers, and you will be studying. You will be a blessing to others, as well as finding that they are a blessing to you. Because let's face it, that is what church is all about. It's not about us going in seeking a blessing. It's about us going in and seeking to be a blessing. And in being that blessing, we almost always find that we are blessed as well. Today we're going to be talking out of Exodus 33, and we're going to be talking about verses 12 to 15. Exodus 33, verses 12 to 15. Let's read it together. It says, "Then Moses said to the Lord, 'See, you say to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, and that I may find grace in your sight. And consider that this nation is your people.' And he said, 'My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest.' Then he said to him," this is Moses talking to God, "'If your presence does not go with me, do not bring us up from here.'" Now we have to understand a little bit here. We have to understand that the people, that the children of Israel have once again acted up. They have rebelled against God. They are called a stiff-necked people earlier in Exodus 33. And they have done some things, and God is saying, "Take the people and go up, and I will send my angel before you." Now, Moses goes and intercedes for the people. He prays an intercessory prayer. He begins to, on behalf of the people, beg God not to send them up without His presence, without Him going up there. And that's where we find ourselves this morning. It says, when Moses said, "See you," he's talking to God. "Say to me, bring up this people, but you, God, have not let me know whom you will send with me." Throughout, we see a conversation between Moses and God. And this is how God expects us to be. There should be a conversation there. That God is, that we have the right respect, we have the right position, we have the right idea of how high God is versus who we are, but that we also come to Him as His child, as His friend, and as that He is our Father, and that He is looking to give good things to us and not bad things. Moses goes on and he says several things, but in verse number 13 he says, "I pray, if I have found grace in your sight," big Y there, "show me now your way, that I may know you," big Y again, this is God, "and that I may find grace in your sight," a big Y there again, "and consider that this nation is your people." So Moses is laying in front of God the fact that these are His people, and that the only way that they are special at all is because God has chosen them as His people and because of the covenant that they have with God. If that disappears, the nations won't even know that they're special because, well, the covenant would have disappeared. But we know that God does not break covenants. But then I want to look very closely at verse 15. It says, "Then he," Moses, "said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not bring us up from here." And that's what our attitude always must be. That if it is not someplace that God is going to go with us, if it is not someplace that God has directed us to go, if we have prayed and we have a good idea that really this isn't God's will, or worse yet, if we haven't prayed at all and we just kind of think we're going to go do our thing and that God will go with us, we have to be very careful. But it's very encouraging here when we read this, because what we find out is that when it is God's will and it is God's way and it is God's plan for our life, that He will go with us, that His presence will go with us, and that we are together with Him. We have nothing to fear because the power of Almighty God is protecting us. Now, does that mean that nothing will ever go wrong? No, I wish I could say that. Does that mean there will be no obstacles in the way? Well, no, I wish I could say that. Does that mean that there will be no hard times, that there will be no times that we might feel just a little bit frightened? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is that we are confident that when we go up in God's way, when we go up in God's will, when we have prayed and we have that we are going up according to His leading and His prompting, that we have nothing to fear because the power of God is going before us. Now, during these times, there's much wickedness out there, and there's much that people get very worried about and they get very concerned about. And many times I'll have people that are they're wringing their hands and they're very anxious about how things are going. But we have to know that God works in different ways, and Romans tells us that He works all things together for the good of those who love Him. So these things are working together for the ultimate end of what God tells us is going to happen when we read the book of Revelation, and we understand that. We read in the book of Daniel. We read in the book of many other books that certain things will happen. We need not be worried about it. So I want you to be encouraged today. Whenever you're getting ready to do something, seek God's face. Seek His presence. Tell Him, God, if you're not in this, I don't want to be in this. And then when you feel in your heart, when you get that prompting in your heart that He is in what you're getting ready to do, you go forward with confidence, knowing that the presence of Almighty God is going before you. If He's not going up, we don't want to go up. But if He is going up, there is no place else we would rather be. I hope you are encouraged today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I'm praying for you, and I know you are praying for me. I'm praying for this nation. I'm praying for this world. I hope that this weekend that you will find a Bible-believing church where you can go and be among fellow believers, and you will feel right at home there and be among God's people. You have a great day.